The awakening ceremony begins now in Awakening Square, a large and prepared place. In the square, students touch the stele to awaken their professions as a blacksmith or bricklayer. Feng Yong appears, thinking that these life professions are rubbish and that a support one would be less boring. His friends praise him because, unlike them, Feng has awakened as a great sword warrior. Meanwhile, our hero accidentally bumps into the shoulder of the blonde bully, who gets angry. One of the henchmen then shouts, asking if the boy doesn't have eyes and how dare he bump into Brother Feng. The protagonist calmly apologizes and says that he is just in a bit of a hurry at the moment. This unexpected attitude leaves the two brutes somewhat surprised and without an immediate reaction. Feng Yong recognizes the boy, and his lackey asks if he could be some young master for being so arrogant. With a careful look, the blonde only confirms the question about the mysterious young master. Lin Han then walks to the stele and reveals that he is the remaining member of the exterminated Lin family. Feng Yong mockingly says that it is a shame because he was a prodigy, but now he is just a dreamy trash. The hero simply smiles, completely ignoring the envious man's provocations. He thinks the bully is just a weakling who barks, and that awakening a rare profession doesn't make him special. Placing his hand on the stele, Lin Han says he's going to show everyone there what true talent is. Immediately, an immense golden light appears, and a divine figure appears, causing everyone to be astonished. Feng's henchman becomes desperate and asks his boss what's going on with that light. Another student is impressed by the never-before-seen light and wonders if the boy is a genius. Feng Yong shouts that it's impossible for that trash to cause a phenomenon, and that if he ascends, he'll become a joke. The stele then reveals the result, which is a special inherited hidden profession, Beastmaster. Two girls comment that it's a waste to be a Beastmaster and question whether he's a genius or trash. We remember that Lin Han was once the eldest young master of a powerful top family. However, 3 years ago, the Lin family was completely destroyed during a beast tide. The original host of the body ended up dying of sadness after losing everything. Tragically, it was at this exact moment that our current protagonist ended up transmigrating to this new world. He even obtained a special system that could only be activated after finally awakening. The system activates, and the boy cries with joy because he waited 3 years and finally has a cheat. His status screen appears showing Lin Han Beast Tame level 1 and very high attributes. The system informs him that the awakening was complete, and a mission appears to spend 100,000 coins. He complains that he barely got the money, and the system already wants it but accepts it to see the tricks. Suddenly, he is transported to a starry place and asks where he is, and the mission is complete. With a smile on his face, the boy is clearly surprised by the rapid unfolding of events. The system congratulates him for unlocking the super-powerful mode and an ultra-rare beast for him. He reflects that every 10 levels he can hire a beast, and a wrong choice affects its power. Without money for another beast, he trusts the ones from the system because they must not be bad and chooses one. He decides to take a chance and then selects one of the available options, wondering what will happen. A huge creature with glowing red eyes appears, and he gets excited about it. Your first beast. The system congratulates you for activating one of the 10 primordial ferocious beasts, the horned celestial ant. He spent 100,000 coins and gained an ant. He feels cheated and asks if he can get a refund. The contract is detected. The ant begins to evolve into its second form, and he screams about being forced. The complete evolution and combat form of the celestial ant is activated, revealing a warrior. With a smile, he says that it is a big surprise and that tomorrow's exam is already in the conversation. The next day, at the Dark Mountains training camp, the students begin level 1. Training instructor Cao Chong appears and informs them that Professor Bai Bing had an emergency today. With the ant on his shoulder, he hears that the portal will take them to appropriate areas, but they must be careful. His friend Long Tian Jiao approaches, calling for little Lin with a smile on his face. He asks if Lin Han has already found a beast, and if they can't go together, because he will help catch it. Feng Yong appears and mocks them, saying that needing help to catch beasts is truly pathetic. The blonde provokes Lin Han to bark like a dog, and maybe he will give him a crossbow out of pity. Our hero turns around and with a serious look asks the bully who he is calling a dog. Feng Yong gets angry, and with a vein popping out on his forehead, asks if the boy dares to mock him. Then the blonde advances with his clenched fist, shouting that the protagonist is done for and will regret it. But Lin Han easily dodges the bully's blow with an agile and effortless movement. Our hero's hand firmly grabs Feng Yong's fist, stopping his attack in mid-air. With a mocking smile, Lin Han asks if that's all, and if the blonde didn't eat properly today. Feng Yong is shocked and wonders how a tamer has so much strength, and if Bai Bing helped him. At that moment, the instructor Cao Chong shouts for Lin Han and tells him to go to the portal right away. His chubby friend Long Tianjiao offers to go with him because it's not safe for him to go alone. Feng Yong appears and says that he has already spoken to Professor Cao and that Lin Han will not leave alive. Meanwhile, the instructor thinks angrily, how a brat dares to get so close to Bai Bing. He reinforces in his mind that this woman is destined to be his, and he will eliminate whoever gets in the way. Lin Han then approaches the shining portal alone, ready to face the challenge of the zone. A sign at the location indicates Swift Wolf Habitat, a silver training zone, level 11 to 20. The boy realizes that the wretch Cao Chong sent him here on purpose to harm him. Suddenly, a pack of wolves with bright yellow eyes appears, growling at the young man. Surrounded by the swift wolves, the hero curses the dangerous and unexpected situation he faces. With a smile, he tells his aunt on his shoulder to wake up because it is finally time for action. He still thinks that Cao Chong is not capable of killing him, and the small ant begins to glow. The creature on his shoulder then undergoes a luminous and rapid transformation, increasing in size. Her combat form of the horned celestial ant is activated, revealing a beautiful warrior. With long white hair and striking red eyes, she faces her enemies with seriousness. She says, "Master, I'm ready," and her status shows level 10 with impressive strength and agility. Lin Han smiles with bright eyes, and the system activates a mission to eliminate 10 ferocious beasts. The ant warrior advances quickly and lands a powerful punch on the snout of a fast wolf. She moves with grace and power, defeating the wolves one by one with her precise and strong blows. In moments, 7 wolves are on the ground, and she informs the master that she has already taken care of them all. The protagonist praises his primordial beast because in less than a minute she has cleared the enemies. He thinks that when she grows more, she will be incredible, and notices that she has already reached level 6. The ant returns to her small and cute form on his shoulder, calling for the master sweetly. He laughs and says that it would be foolish to compare status with her, since she is one of the 10 primordial beasts. Stroking her on the head, he comments that it is difficult to associate her with the word ferocious beast. She looks like an innocent little girl, and blushes with the master's gesture, feeling comfortable and happy. 2 henchmen watch hidden, and one asks if Cao didn't say the target would be alone. The other replies that he doesn't know, but she's strong, and with that body and face, she's a rare beauty. One of them comments that she's very pretty, and his partner agrees that it would be a waste to eliminate her. The leader of the trio tells them to act carefully, because the woman isn't weak and plans to get the boy. He then turns around and asks his 2 companions why they remained silent. Suddenly, the ant warrior appears behind the 2 henchmen, who freeze in pure fear and surprise. With a cold and penetrating look, she asks if they intend to hurt her master. One of the brutes screams in terror upon seeing the murderous expression of that powerful and lethal woman. The leader realizes that she defeated the other 2 and that she must be level 20. So he tries to run away. He runs as fast as he can to catch Lin Han and wonders who that boy is after all. As he runs away desperately, a wolf's paw almost hits him, and he screams in fright at the attack. The beast's paw hits him full on, throwing him violently to the ground and leaving him injured. Lin Han appears watching the scene, and the henchman on the ground screams desperately, asking him to stop. The protagonist then reflects on whether that training area is really recommended for low levels. A huge level 22 Swift Wolf King appears, and Lin Han notices his super powerful aura. Fallen and bleeding, the henchman begs our hero for help as his last hope for life. However, the Wolf King attacks the man without hesitation, quickly eliminating him with a fatal kick. A leader mission arises for Lin Han to eliminate the Swift Wolf King for 200 beast points. Faced with the powerful Wolf King, Lin Han realizes the difficulty and suggests retreating for now. However, when looking at his partner, the boy notices a smile and that she will not give in easily. So he decides to advance and orders his celestial aunt to attack the monster with full force. Immediately, the gigantic beast roars, showing its fangs and preparing for confrontation. His warrior is not shaken and lands a powerful punch on the snout of the huge white wolf. She grits her teeth with effort as she tries to hold the head of the wild creature. Even though she is small, the fighter clings to the wolf's nose under the dark and illuminated sky. Suddenly, the Wolf King uses the lightning step skill of Gale, disappearing into the distance. A moment. The hero's partner is hit by the surprise attack and screams in pain due to the force of the blow. An explosion occurs at the scene, and the protagonist watches the scene worried about his ally. Falling to her knees, the warrior faces the imposing Wolf King, who looks down at her threateningly. The creature shows its sharp blue claws, preparing for a new brutal attack. Then the monster unleashes a sequence of fast kicks wrapped in blue energy. The celestial ant defends itself from the multiple blows with difficulty, feeling the great pressure. Lin Han, worried, thinks that the difference in level is great and that she has no direct advantage. Irritated, the young man complains that these wolves do not fight fair, always using sneak attacks. At that moment, two smaller wolves try to grab him from behind, but he notices the movement. With agility, the hero grabs one of the beasts and says that they are too naive for that. He mocks them, thanking them for giving themselves up so easily to him right there. Then the boy uses one wolf to strike the other, and the battle mission updates to 9. With a sharp look, the protagonist prepares to face the remaining wolves around him. He advances and lands a precise punch in the mouth of another beast that was trying to bite him. After the impact, the system indicates that the first battle mission has finally been completed. The notification confirms that the 10 ferocious beasts have been defeated as the task requested. With 100 beast points gained, he shouts for his partner to use the frenzy strike now. Meanwhile, his companion is still bravely resisting the attacks of the powerful Swift Wolf King. The system spends 100 points and awakens the horned ant's frenzy strike with full damage. The small ant in its tiny form flies quickly towards the giant opponent. The Wolf King seems confused by the approach of the small creature and lets out a slight grunt. The enormous beast stares at the ant with surprise in its blue eyes, not understanding its tactic. Despite its size, the small warrior hits the wolf, causing a strong explosion of energy. The creature glows with a blue aura, and its muscles seem to swell, gaining more power. In an imposing pose, the celestial ant prepares to unleash its maximum strength. Contained, returning to warrior form, she screams and releases a wave of overwhelming and pure energy. Surrounded by dark energy, the fighter delivers the final blow with impressive force. The impact of the frenzy strike is gigantic, raising a cloud of dust and debris. The boss's mission is complete, and Lin Han is amazed at how the Wolf King was killed instantly. With a mischievous smile, the warrior in chibi form says that this is a real beast. The system warns about dropped weapons, and the boy asks if his partner was notified. The cute chibi form returns, and the notification informs that the frenzy strike has finally ended. With a happy face in her normal form, the warrior happily calls out to her beloved master. She hugs him tightly, celebrating having defeated the big dog, and he asks her to calm down, laughing. The protagonist feels something new with the tight and unexpected hug of his loyal companion. Completely blushing, he wonders if this is what this feeling is like as she hugs him happily. Suddenly, the celestial ant says that she is very tired with a very sleepy expression. Her eyes close slowly, and she repeats that she is very sleepy after the hard fight. She returns to her chibi form and falls asleep on his lap, and the young man comments that this is normal. He thanks her for her effort and lays her down on the ground, and she agrees, still very sleepy. The hero notices that monsters give items like in the games of his past life, and gets excited. Anxious for the rewards, he touches the system screen that starts processing the data. He goes crazy with his luck when he sees a silver-quality sword with a level 10 requirement. A bronze ice staff then appears that can make a good amount of money if he sells it there. He plans to hunt more to level up and collect items to sell, and then decides to check his current level. The system shows that he is a level 10 beast tamer and has reached the maximum level to evolve. Surprised, the boy notices that killing the Wolf King maximized his experience and he no longer needs to hunt there. Before leaving, he decides to talk to the two guys still alive to find out who sent them. With a smile, the young man thinks that things won't be boring for a long time, and this cheers him up. A few hours later, a portal opens, and the medical team is informed that the test students will return. An instructor tells everyone to prepare for the exams and treatments, but not everyone will be so lucky. Suddenly, the instructor named Chao Chong is surprised by a voice that calls him with anger and fury. Professor Bai appears and the students question her presence because she had another commitment today. Chao Chong says that they are just welcoming the students back and that he can take care of everything alone. The girl then asks about Lin Han's test and if the instructor doesn't owe her a clear explanation. The man replies that he knows about her closeness to Lin Han, but instructors should treat everyone equally. He then suggests that she accompany him to a private place to discuss and share experiences. Immediately, a metallic sound echoes in the place as the teacher shows her growing and visible irritation. She points a knife at his neck and demands an explanation about his previous actions now. With his hands up, the instructor pretends not to understand and asks what. What does she mean by that? Annoyed, she says that Lin Han barely woke up and he sent him to the silver-level training zone. The teacher asks if he thinks he can mistreat Lin Han just because his family is gone and he is alone. The man pushes the knife away and claims that she misunderstood because he had his own reasons for doing so. He justifies himself by saying that Lin Han needed difficulties to level up and even got 3 assistants to help. The girl threatens him by saying that he better pray for Lin Han to return safe and sound or there will be consequences. She warns that if he gets hurt, she will rip off the same part of the instructor's body to heal him. Scared, he agrees, but in his mind he curses her and says that she is just acting tough there. He thinks that when she sees Lin Han's body, her arrogance will disappear, and this pleases him greatly. The instructor has indecent thoughts about the teacher, imagining a chance to get closer to her soon. Suddenly, someone shouts that the people who participated in the test have finally returned to the safe place. Leng Lingshui from Class 6 appears, and everyone, they say she was the first to complete the difficult test. A blonde boy approaches and says that it was expected that the number 1 in the school would finish before him. He tries to get closer to her, suggesting that the 2 geniuses in the school should get to know each other better. The girl dodges his touch with a cold expression, and he ends up missing the unwanted physical contact. She says that if it were the old Lin Han, she would consider it, but with him, she can forget the idea. The blonde boy gets irritated by the rejection and the direct response from the powerful storm mage right there. Meanwhile, hurried footsteps are heard, and someone runs towards the return portal right now. Lin Han's chubby friend arrives out of breath and asks if little Lin has already returned from the dangerous test. Feng Yong says that he didn't expect the fat boy to survive, and that Lin Han definitely died in there. The protagonist's friend is furious with the blonde's words and stares at him with great anger and hatred. He challenges him to repeat, and Feng Yong says that Lin Han died because he was a weak and trashy tamer. At that moment, the instructor Cao Chong shouts, telling the fat boy to shut up immediately. They're present. The man asks if Lin Han is his father and tells him to stop worrying and focus on his strength. Then the instructor tells him to get out of the way so as not to block the other students who are still returning. Lin Han's friend walks away, grumbling that little Lin will surely be back soon anyway. An hour passes and the wait continues at the site, with all the students having already returned earlier. Two students massage Feng Yong, thanking him for his work and asking about the pressure he felt. The chubby friend wonders why everyone returned except little Lin, who has not yet appeared. A student comments that he must have died in there and that it would be an honorable death for a tamer. Suddenly, a rock flies at high speed towards the group that was mocking the absent boy. The rock hits the talkative student and Feng Yong, who scream at the impact of the hard object. To everyone's surprise, Lin Han finally appears at the portal with a confident smile on his cheerful face. Lin Han appears and asks when the school got so many noisy dogs because he lost track of time. The chubby friend quickly runs towards him and shouts in relief that the brat finally returned right there. The classmate punches the boy on the shoulder, saying that the little devil scared him, while Teacher Bai watches Instructor Chao Chong with his arms crossed, wonders what happened because he sent 3 to take care of the young man. The man thinks that Lin Han got lucky this time, but he won't let him get away that easily. Then Feng Yong provokes him by asking what a tamer without pets can do and if he just hid. Furious, the chubby friend shouts, "If Feng Yong has gone crazy and if he thinks everyone is a coward like him," with a mocking smile, the blonde replies that he will soon find out if he is a coward or not, and then continues. He points to Lin Han and calls him a useless tamer who hid trembling in the mountains out of pure cowardice. The protagonist then asks if Feng Yong has finished barking, leaving his friend quite surprised by this. With a confident look, the young man says that with his skills he is not even good enough to clean his beast's shoes. Feng Yong is completely angry with the provocation and questions if he is really so different from what he thinks. He proposes a bet to see who has the highest level worth 100,000 coins or if kneel like a grandfather. The boy accepts and says he will slap him to the center of the earth while his friend asks him not to be impulsive. He then turns to Instructor Cao and asks him not to interfere because it is something between the two boys. Of course, the supervisor agrees, but warns them that they must keep their word because integrity is valued at the school. With a mischievous smile, he thinks that Lin Han asked for this and doesn't mind passing the knife to him. Now Teacher Bai notices Lin Han's look and aura and realizes that the brat is trying to deceive someone there. Satisfied, the instructor declares that since the bet is made, they can start the dispute immediately. Then the chubby friend decides to participate too and says that he is Lin Han's brother, revealing himself to be a berserker level 2. Feng Yong mocks the level 2 and shows his level 3. Greatsword warrior like a true genius. The other students are impressed by Feng Yong's level 3 and call it incredible and very rare. Lin Han's friend is worried because he didn't expect Feng Yong to have reached the level 3 so fast. Feng Yong then calls Lin Han, saying that if the weakling Long Tianjiao is level 2, he can't be bigger. With a loud laugh, he says that the two should kneel down and call him grandfather right away. The chubby one asks what he's bragging about, but Lin Han stops him, asking him to wait a little longer. The companion questions, and Lin Han says not to worry because he doesn't take the blonde's strength seriously. He then reveals his power and says that even if he dropped a level, he would still be far ahead as a level 10 Tame. The crowd is completely shocked to see that the boy reached the impressive level 10 so quickly. Calmly, Lin Han stands there with the aura of a level 10 beast tamer shining brightly around him. Feng Yong doesn't believe it and wonders how a useless tamer could become so strong in such a short time there. He accuses Lin Han of cheating, because not even Leng Ling Sui, the best student, could do that, and it must be his lie. With a smile, the young man asks if, just because he can't do it, others can't either, and if he's ever heard of a hidden class. He reminds the instructor of the promise, and asks him to make sure Feng Yong doesn't run away from the bet he made just now. The boy ironically thanks the assistants who protected him and helped him reach level 10 of power. Cao Chong panics when he realizes that Lin Han knows about the men he sent and fears being badly knocked down. He thinks about all the hard work he's put into getting to his position and how he can't let a brat ruin it all. Determined, The instructor decides that he needs to shut the boy up forever on that very day and place. Leng Lingshui watches and wonders if Lin Han has really reached level 10 and if he's the former #1 genius. She reveals herself to be a level 5 storm mage and states that she'll reach it sooner or later for sure. The young man turns to Professor Bai and asks what brings her here, since she had important matters before. The girl smiles and replies that her business is over, and since it's her job, she couldn't ignore the situation. The chubby boy praises Lin Han to the teacher, saying that with more time, he will truly be invincible. Very soon, Teacher Bai makes a thoughtful expression upon hearing the excited words of Lin Han's friend about his power. Suddenly, Cao Chong advances behind Lin Han, shouting for him to die, and with clear murderous intent, Teacher Bai reacts quickly and pushes Lin Han away, shouting for him to be careful with the dirty blow. She blocks the instructor's punch and questions him about attacking a student, which is against the rules of the academy. Angry Cao Chong shouts at Bai Bing not to try to use the academy's regulations against his nefarious actions. He states that he needs to take down Lin Han today and manages to land a blow on the teacher during the direct confrontation. With the impact of the blow, the teacher is pushed back and tries to balance herself on the ground quickly right there. The teacher retaliates with a kick and shouts that as long as she is there, he will not achieve anything anyway. The chubby friend shouts at Teacher Bai to hold on tight, while Lin Han notices that she is at a disadvantage there. Furious Cao Chong complains that she defends Lin Han and that his feelings for her were a total waste. With force, the teacher is thrown back. The instructor smiles at the girl lying on the ground and says he will charge her some interest first right there. Quickly, a boot is about to hit the instructor's face. Suddenly, Lin Han appears and lands a powerful kick on the instructor's face. Before she falls to the ground, the protagonist manages to hold Teacher Bai in his arms and supports her. The young man asks the girl if she is okay, and she answers a little embarrassed that everything is fine. Lin Han asks the fallen instructor what the kick tastes like and threatens to use his level 10 power on him again. Cao Chong accuses the boy, saying he knows how he got to level 10 and that 3 assistants disappeared. The man shouts that the boy must have defeated the assistants to gain experience points in a dirty way. Then Cao Chong says that the young man is cruel and does not deserve to be a student, and that he will seek justice right now. Suddenly, the instructor stops his attack because something suddenly fell in front of him. Lin Han throws one of the assistants at Cao Chong's feet and asks if it was this man he loved so much spoke. The supervisor looks at the fallen assistant and wonders in shock if Ah Hao is really lifeless on the floor. The man then concludes that if Ah Hao didn't make it, the other 2 certainly didn't escape alive either. With an evil smile, the instructor thinks that this is perfect, because those who are gone can't witness anything. Cao Chong shouts to Lin Han that the body is there and asks what else he has to say in his defense. The protagonist smiles and says he didn't. Cao Chong shouts to Lin Han that the body is there and asks what else he has to say in his defense. The protagonist smiles and says he didn't want to see anyone dead on the mountain, so he decided to help there. With slow steps, he approaches and says that the man sent his brothers to the end and still doesn't admit it. Crouching down, he touches the face of the fallen assistant and says that the guy is a poor guy for being used like that. The instructor gets furious and thinks that if the assistant isn't satisfied, he can look for him in the other world. Angry Cao Chong advances and shouts that he will break the young man's limbs so he will learn not to talk nonsense. Teacher Bai and the chubby friend scream desperately, asking the protagonist to be careful with the attack. Suddenly, a red aura surrounds the two, and Lin Han says that the man will be forced to tell the whole truth. The instructor shouts for the young man to shut up and says that he is doing that to avenge his assistant, Ah Hao. In response, the protagonist releases his blue aura and asks if the instructor really wants to silence the witness. Other students start to scream and hope that Instructor Cao will teach that trash student a lesson. Then the man goes for it, with a series of quick punches aimed directly at the boy's face. The protagonist dodges all the blows with ease, while the villain wonders how he is doing this. Lin Han realizes that Cao Chong is very strong, but fighting him head-on is not a real problem. The young man then thinks that he can't just defend himself because he needs a more aggressive stance in the fight. Suddenly, an ice staff appears in his hand, and a system window informs him that it costs 10 mana to use. Before he can react, the instructor's leg is frozen, and he doesn't understand what happened there. Without wasting time, the protagonist steps hard on the ground and prepares to strike the enemy with the next blow. He then lands a powerful kick on the instructor's frozen leg, who screams as the ice breaks. The impact of the blow is so strong that a large cloud of dust and rocks rises from the rocky ground. The boy is satisfied because his strength has increased a lot after leveling up, and he can dominate Kao. With a smile, the young man thinks that he just needs to move away, and the rest will not be a problem for him to solve soon. He thinks that his attributes are weaker than Kao's, but winning with brute force was never his plan. Soon after, a small, blue, shiny creature appears in front of the protagonist, ready for battle. The creature then transforms into a woman with white hair, and a panel with her status appears for the young man. The woman advances to attack Chao Chong from behind, and the man turns around surprised, not knowing where she came from. With a quick blow, the woman hits the instructor squarely and throws him far away from the protagonist. The mysterious woman's attack collides with the instructor's energy, creating a large explosion of "Be happy?" The woman asks if she was obedient, and Lin Han asks her to be quiet and go back to being an ant. With a cute smile, the woman agrees to return to her small form and fulfills her master's request. She quickly transforms back into the small blue ant creature from before. The creature then flies towards the protagonist and lands calmly on his shoulder as if nothing had happened. Cao Chong stands up and accuses the young man of joining a stranger to attack him and asks about the woman. The man says that a student with a character as rotten as the protagonist's needs severe punishment. With his shirt tearing, the instructor shouts that the young man must be severely punished for everything that happened. Before he can attack, someone steps on his shoulder and stops him from advancing, leaving the man quite shocked. Lightning strikes the instructor while a voice tells him not to blame the students without first investigating. The instructor looks up completely shocked and wonders how that person appeared right there in front of him. An older man with white hair smiles, and the system reveals that he is the dean of the Level 55 Academy. 6. Seeing the dean, Cao Chong accuses Lin Han of killing the assistant so he can level up in the academy. He continues saying that the young man tried to attack him and that such a bad person needs to be punished right now. Cao Chong shouts that the witnesses and evidence are there, and then asks the dean to kill Lin Han once and for all. With a smile, the protagonist mocks, saying that all of that is nothing more than a blatant lie. The dean then turns around and asks the young man if he has any proof for what he is saying there. The older man then uses an analysis skill on the assistant's body to check everything. After analyzing the body, he says that the assistant's bones and internal organs are completely destroyed. The instructor shouts that even if the fatal blow was from a beast, it certainly has to do with the boy, with a smile on his face. Lin Han says that the instructor is just wasting time with all this accusation. The protagonist asks why the instructor doesn't admit that he sent the assistant and was betrayed in the end. Professor Bai then approaches and says that she saw the boy and his partner being blackmailed by Cao Chong. Desperately, the instructor shouts that he is an instructor and asks how he could hurt a student. He continues shouting that all of this is a lie from the boy and that there is no evidence against him now. The dean then says that accusing an instructor is a serious matter and asks the young man if he has any evidence. With a smile, the instructor thinks that whoever saw everything is already gone, and without witnesses, no one can accuse him. The boy then says that there is a way to get witnesses, and a blue portal appears in front of him there. Suddenly, two tied-up men appear along with a large blue wolf, leaving everyone surprised. Teacher Bai and her chubby friend are left speechless, not understanding where those people came from. The young man explains that the three were ambushing him, but ended up bumping into the Wolf King due to their bad luck. With a smile, he continues saying that one of them was caught by the wolf, and he managed to catch the other himself. The protagonist then kicks one of the prisoners and says that they both must know the answer to everything. The two men start screaming and confess that Chao Chong hired them to watch and finish off Lin Han. They scream that they can't take it anymore and that it was all instructor Chao Chong's plan to get rid of the boy. Little blue ants are biting the men's feet, and that's why they're screaming in pain. With an evil smile, the young man thinks it was too easy to make the two confess to the ants. The protagonist turns to the instructor and asks if he doesn't want to explain what's happening now. The instructor is shocked and thinks that those two idiots couldn't have confessed everything so easily. Suddenly, a blue magic seal appears on the instructor's chest, who is scared without knowing what it is. The seal shines and begins to electrocute Chao Chong's body, who screams in pain from the shock of the dean's magic. The dean says that as an instructor, Chao Chong tried to harm a student and violated the academy's rules there. With a serious look, the older man tells the instructor to prepare to receive the punishment he deserves. Professor Bai smiles in relief and says that the mistake has been admitted and that they can finally go home. The protagonist and the teacher watch as the dean walks away after resolving the whole mess. Suddenly, the blue-haired girl appears and asks if it was the protagonist who killed the Wolf King. She approaches and asks how he did it, and the young man asks his colleague to keep a little away. She then takes his hands and says that his class is long range and not hand-to-hand combat. With their faces glued together, she says that the only explanation is a powerful beast and calls him to a test fight. The boy thinks that it is not a good time for this, and that her personality is very different from what it seems. Teacher Bai then intervenes and separates the two students before the situation gets any weirder. The teacher says that she understands her desire to become strong, but now they need to rest and analyze. The blue-haired girl says that she is just curious about his fighting style, but the teacher denies the request. While the two argue, the protagonist tries to sneak out without anyone noticing his escape. He waves and says that everyone is tired and that it would be better if everyone went home to rest a little. The young man laughs awkwardly and comments that the weather is nice, while the two look at him angrily at his attitude. The teacher thinks about the mysterious woman and the new girl and wonders if he has become a playboy now. She gets irritated and thinks that it has nothing to do with it because it has nothing to do with the boy after all. The blue-haired girl stops him again and says that he still hasn't answered the question she asked before. The boy smiles awkwardly and says that he's tired and that they can talk about it another time. The girl agrees to the promise, and the young man smiles in relief for having managed to escape that situation. He thinks that the girl has finally left, but wonders if she was angry with him for some reason. Later, the protagonist arrives at a trading house to sell the items he got on his journey. While a waitress serves coffee, he thinks about selling the items to pay the bills and a debt he has. Back in the city, the protagonist meets an older man and throws a card in his direction. The butler in a suit catches the card in the air with a very serious expression on his face. The young man says that this is the money that Sister Bing lent him, and that now she is returning it all with interest. He also sends a message to her family and tells them to never try anything against him again. The butler is shocked and wonders if this is really the old Lin Han who was the family's trash. At another moment, the young man shows a sword and a staff that he got from the Mountain of Dark Shadow. The store manager is surprised and asks the boy if there is a problem with his items. The man then asks if the young man's name is Lin Han, and he confirms by asking if they know each other. The manager laughs and says that he has been friends with the boy's father for over 10 years, and that he can call him Uncle Tian. Uncle Tian praises him and says that with this strength, the revitalization of the Lin family is not far away. With a smile, the boy wonders if he can trust him and takes the opportunity to ask for a higher price. The older man also smiles and thinks that the boy is young and that he can get a good deal. The two then look at each other with fake smiles and prepare to start negotiating the items. Uncle Tian offers 5 million dragon coins and says that it is a friendly price for him. The young man smiles and says that business is business and that these items are worth at least 8 million. They start to discuss prices, and the manager offers 5.5 million, but the boy asks for 7 or 8. happy with life. The boy accepts the offer of 6,660,000 coins for the items. They shake hands and close the deal, but the manager feels that he was cheated by the boy in the end. The employee gives him 2 cards, one with the money and a VIP with a limit of 3 million. Uncle Tien says that he can come back whenever he has more items, and the young man thanks him for his help. With a chibi smile, the protagonist thinks about taking advantage and taking a look at the magic scrolls. 10 minutes later, the boy leaves and the manager watches him thinking about his great potential there. The older man smiles and thinks that in the future, he will have many chances to cooperate with the young again. The scene changes, and now an armored truck is parked in front of the protagonist's house on the street. Lin Han arrives and finds the butler from before, and asks what Uncle Liu is doing there. Now the butler introduces himself and says that it has been a long time since he last saw him, since the Lin family ended up falling. With a smile on his face, the protagonist asks the man what he wants in that place there. The butler says that Miss Bai captured a beast for him but was punished, and that is why he came to deliver it. The young man is touched to think that she really tried so hard to be able to help him with everything. Suddenly, the older man puts his hands on the truck door and says that he has a message from the master. The message says that the Bai family has done enough for him and that now there is no more debt. With a malicious look, the butler tells the young man to never bother his young lady again. The protagonist is shocked by the sudden change in the older man's attitude in front of him. He then stops calling the man uncle and calls him only butler with a cold and distant look. The boy says he appreciates the help, but that he has never asked the Bai family for anything, not even in the past. He then turns his back and tells the butler to take the crossbow back and leave that place. With a serious look, he tells the man to tell the master that he does not need anyone's help. The butler smiles evilly and says that no one can refuse what the Bai family wants to deliver. He releases his aura and shouts that to refuse a gift, you first need to have the strength to do so. The protagonist's eyes glow red as he also prepares for the great battle. The butler is hit by a crushing pressure and is frightened without understanding what happened. A red fire aura surrounds the body of the young man, who stares at the man with a look of pure rage. The butler is pushed back by the pressure of the aura and wonders what the hell is going on. He thinks that Lin Han is just a beastmaster and wonders why he is feeling afraid of him now. Gritting his teeth, he screams that it is impossible for him to be pressured by a random boy like him. The scene then changes to show the facade of an apartment building on a calm, sunny day. Lying in his bed, the boy thinks that Sister Bing does not have good intentions, but does not like being forced. He then closes his eyes and decides that it is better to sleep before doing the transfer missions. While he sleeps, one of his pet ants appears and climbs onto his shoulder carefully. The small blue creature then climbs onto the face of its master, who is sleeping soundly. A strong light comes out of the window, indicating a new day that has begun there. He wakes up with his ant in its human form on top of him, calling him master with a smile. She then hugs her master, and the boy thanks her for having tried so hard the night before. The next day, the young man goes to the transfer temple, and the receptionist has already prepared a room for him. There, he hears some people gossiping about a beast master who became super strong out of nowhere. He is worried about the news spreading so much fast and decides he needs to be more discreet. With this in mind, the young man starts walking towards the room that was assigned to him in that place. Inside, he finds a huge blue crystal floating in the middle of the room and approaches it to see. The young man remembers that the receptionist told him to put his hand on the crystal to see his mission. He then touches the shiny object and wonders if the level 10 mission will be too difficult. The screen shows that the mission is level 5 and he needs to defeat some beasts. The level of the transfer mission is then confirmed as being 5 stars in difficulty. Outside, everyone is shocked when they discover that someone activated a 5-star mission. The young man puts his hand to his face and complains about his luck for having taken on such a difficult mission. The screen in the main hall shows everyone the 5-star mission that was activated there. A guy in the middle of the crowd screams and wonders who was the unlucky one who activated this mission. Fortunately, the young man celebrates inside because the system did not reveal his identity to the others. With a smile, he thinks that now that he has taken on the mission, it is better not to waste time and go logo. The scene changes to the Shattered Ruins, which is a place with a desert and mountainous landscape. Nearby, there is a mercenary meeting point with several soldiers and parked cars. A bald and strong man complains that if no missions appear, he will go hungry this month. Suddenly, the bald man notices something approaching the camp and becomes alert. The protagonist arrives at the camp, and the mercenaries keep an eye on the boy approaching. One of the men calls the boy a fat sheep and says it is time to open the business to make a profit. As the young man passes by, one of the mercenaries asks if he is there to do a mission. The bald man approaches and offers his services, with a guarantee and even a 20% discount. The boy walks right past him and says he does not need his help, leaving the man surprised by his refusal. The man insists and says they can negotiate the price and that he can even do it for free as a friend. Suddenly, the young man grabs the man's arm and says once again that he does not need his help. With his eyes shining, he warns the man to be careful with your arm if you keep annoying him. He then throws the man hard to the ground, who falls without being able to believe what happened there. The boy thinks that mercenaries who offer free things only want to steal and kill people. On the ground, the bald man becomes furious and shouts that he is going to end the life of that cheeky boy. Another man stops him and tells him to forget what happened, because it is not worth fighting. A red-haired woman hits the table and says that they should not let the boy leave like that. With an evil smile, she says that when he leaves the safe area, they will be able to have a lot of fun far away. The young man thinks that the place is very different from what he was used to seeing before. He then summons his aunt and tells her to leave because they are ready to start the mission. She says that she is ready, and the boy comforts her, saying that today she will be able to fight a lot. Suddenly, the system notifies the boy about a new mission that he activated without even realizing it. The mission is to kill the Apostle of Thunder and get the Heart of Thunder as a reward for the feat. He is happy because the reward is 300 points he can use to strengthen his aunt. The boy takes out his cell phone and thinks about buying information from Uncle Tien to find the apostle. He then tells his aunt that they will first do the class transfer mission. A pack of level 15 wolves appears in the desert and prepares to attack the two there. The aunt takes action and begins to fight the wolves while dodging their attacks. After being defeated, the remaining wolves decide to attack the protagonist, who is alone. He smiles and takes out a fire scroll, asking if they want to face him right now. The young man then throws a huge fireball in the direction of the wolves and tells them to try their luck. With a smile, he thinks that the roasted wolf meat must be delicious to eat later. The wolves are completely terrified by the huge fireball that is now approaching them. The magic scroll then launches several fireballs that explode and hit the pack directly. The surviving wolves flee in despair, while the system warns about the deaths there. Another notification warns that he cannot gain more experience before changing class. The boy says that the mission is not over, and his scrolls will not let them escape like that. He then orders his aunt to speed up and finish off the remaining wolves once and for all. After the battle, he holds an energy crystal and smiles, satisfied with the result of the fight. The system shows that his aunt has reached level 15, and he regrets the lost experience. Despite this, he is not shaken and puts his hand in his pocket to get his cell phone and see something. He thinks that by now, Uncle Tian must have sent the location of the Apostle of Thunder. The message warns that the Apostle is very strong and that he should not go alone if he is weak. The young man then calls his companion and says that it is time to hunt the next target of the mission. Hidden, the red-haired mercenary observes the boy and thinks that he is rich for using scrolls. The bald man asks if they should attack now, but the boss says to wait a little longer. She explains that it is better to wait for him to get tired and get more energy stones before attacking. Following the map, they find the Apostle of Thunder of level 17 sleeping peacefully. The boy finds it strange that he is only level 17 and says that he does not seem like a big threat. Excitedly, he points to the monster and tells his aunt to defeat it so they can go home. The noise wakes the creature that gets up furious and faces the two intruders in front of it. Without wasting time, the ant advances and lands a powerful punch right in the face of the Apostle of Thunder. After the blow, it begins to glow and returns to its small blue insect form. It quickly digs a hole and hides underground to prepare the next attack. The Apostle is confused and looks around without understanding where its enemy went. Suddenly, it comes out of the ground with everything and lands a powerful hook right in the creature's chin. Seeing an opportunity, the protagonist grabs an ice scroll to end the fight. He throws the scroll that hits the Apostle squarely, causing massive damage to the creature. With a smile on his face, the boy tells the monster that it is over for him and his mission. Suddenly, a huge pillar of ice comes out of the ground and goes through the monster's body, defeating him. The system then notifies that the Apostle has been defeated, but he does not gain any experience. The ant says that it is tired, and the young man complains that the monster was weak but had a lot of life. But he is happy to have gotten 300 points just for defeating that monster there. He uses the points to awaken the Iron Bone ability for his faithful ant. It begins to shine, and the system warns that the new ability increases its defense by 20%. Happy with the new power, she hugs her master, who warns her to be careful with the place. Suddenly, a shadow covers the two, and a voice says that the boy is very good at fighting there. The red-haired woman appears with her group and says that to survive, you need to have power and brains. The boy recognizes the bald man and asks if he came to seek revenge after the fight is over. The woman says that he will pay for having rejected them and tells him to hand over all his treasures. The young man stands up and asks if they are not afraid of being caught stealing there in the desert. She smiles and explains that this is an unsafe area and the patrol never shows up there. The woman says that if he disappears here, everyone will think that a monster took him. With an evil look, she says that she will take good care of him, and a henchman asks about the girl. Suddenly, he realizes that his aunt is no longer by his side and wonders where she went. The aunt appears silently behind the red-haired woman and prepares to attack with everything. With a quick movement, she grabs the arm of the mercenary who didn't even have time to react. In an instant, she throws the woman to the side and knocks down all the henchmen with ease. The bald man is also thrown away, as if it were absolutely nothing. The remaining henchmen get up and decide to shoot the girl to try their luck. The bullets hit her body, but the Iron Bone ability is activated and protects her from the damage. On the ground, the woman is shocked by the girl's strength and realizes that she underestimated the enemy. The red-haired woman remains on the ground, completely panicked without understanding what just happened there. Smiling, the protagonist takes another scroll and says that now it is too late for them to escape. And then a huge explosion of light hits the remaining mercenaries, defeating them all at once. The only one standing complain that the girl is a monster and that the boy has infinite scrolls. The bald man then whispers to his boss that if they defeat the boy, they can still turn the game around. Confidently, he stands up and says that the young man is weak without his items and that he will fight him. Standing in front of them, the protagonist mockingly asks if they still dare to resist him. With a smile, he shows several scrolls and says that this weakling here has many skills. The young man orders them to hand over everything they have, and maybe then he will think about letting them go. With an evil look, he says that he will teach them about fear, and the woman calls him a thief.